fighting in a sport competition, on the street, or in any situation where your partner isn't cooperating with you 100%, most of those fights will start from the standing position. In order to begin practicing from the standing position, the most important thing to know is how to break your fall. For safety reasons, because you will be doing these techniques over and over again repeatedly, as opposed to the street or in a competition where you only land maybe once or twice, you have to practice them over and over again to get good at them. Since you'll be doing this, you don't want to sustain any injury from taking the techniques. These techniques, or break falls, are called ukemi, and they're very important to the beginning of your training. Basically, you'll hit the mat in a few different directions, either forward, to one side, the other side, and to back. The most important ways we can learn how to fall right now will be to the back and the sides. Then rolling forward will become important later as we do throws directly over the head, which are considered usually more advanced. For the first types of throws, we want to basically learn how to fall backward. We can't start from a standing position right away. We should start close to the ground so that you're comfortable, you get acclimated with the mat. So I'm going to start here in the squatted position with my hands this way, pinkies up. I'm going to drop straight back to the mat, but I have to remember I don't want to hit my head on the back of the mat. I also don't want to bite my tongue as I fall. So keep your teeth closed, keep your chin down, and your hands out. As I roll back, I'm going to keep my back rounded. I'm going to try not to slam my behind on the floor. Okay? I want to roll out slowly and carefully, like this. Okay? So you might want to practice just rocking back and forth this way. Once you get good at that, you can learn how to actually break the fall. You don't want to slap your hand on the mat too early here and jam your wrist or hurt your arm. You want to wait until your back has actually touched the floor and then break your fall. Your hands should be out at about a 45-degree angle, whatever's comfortable for you. Right here. Not here and not here. Somewhere in the middle. Chin to your chest, teeth closed, head down. Notice my palm is slapping the mat. I'm not meeting the mat with my elbow first. Once you're comfortable from the kneeling position, we can try it from the standing position. Falling to the front isn't as hard as it may seem. Most normal people have reservations about throwing themselves forward on the mat. So to help you out with that, we're going to put ourselves closer to the mat. We'll put one foot slightly in front of the next. The opposite hand will reach out on the floor, making a tripod here. Okay? My free hand now will reach through to my rear ankle, through the hole. Notice how I'm reaching through and tucking my head. I don't want to meet the mat with my face as I fall. I have to tuck my chin. Roll through with your pinky down so that you make a U here, a little curve with your arm. You'll notice that when I hit the mat, this part will just graze the mat, and I'll gently roll through. And once again, use my break fall, my slapping technique with my hand. Because Jiu-Jitsu doesn't include a lot of striking techniques, our main goal while we're standing is to get to the clinch position so that he has a harder time delivering really heavy and powerful blows to my head or vital areas of my body. Basically, the reason for this philosophically, which is explained in greater detail in my textbooks, is that Jiu-Jitsu, first of all, in philosophy, is a gentle art. Okay? When you deliver a strike to someone's face, you don't have the choice of controlling it or restricting. You may be able to throw a light punch, which really isn't going to do anything to your attacker. So if you throw a heavy one, you could break his jaw, you could disfigure him permanently. Whereas with Jiu-Jitsu, with a choke or arm lock, you can control the amount of pressure and the amount of damage you're going to do to your opponent. That's the first thing. When I first began the fight, The first thing I have to know is I don't want to get hit. Okay, so I don't want him to hit me, and that's probably what's going to happen. The most common thing that's going to happen is that your opponent's going to try to punch you or kick you. So here's a few things we're going to go over so that your face will be protected, so that your groin will be protected. The first thing, I want to keep my hands up. Never do you want to overextend your hands and drop them from your face until you're ready to make your attack. Okay, you never want to give your chin. All right, you don't want to stand squared off. So if he's going to fight me or look like he's going to fight me, all right, I want to stand at a slight angle here. Since we're not punchers, I'm not so much worried about which side is forward. If I was a boxer, I might have my strong hand back. Here, I prefer to have my strong hand, since I'm only doing jiu-jitsu, forward. It's my strongest hand, it's my grabbing hand. Okay, it's also my fastest hand. All right, I can control, it acts as a buffer here. All right, so I put my strong leg forward in this case. All right, so I'm going to stand at a slight angle. Why? It decreases his target area. Here, I'm a big target, plus my groin is obviously exposed. I want to decrease my target area, stand basically to the side. Be comfortable. Okay, Jiu-Jitsu doesn't have too many crazy, stances. We're not going to do like a horse stance or anything. Just be comfortable, relaxed, and mobile. Knees slightly bent, not extended, so you have your balance. All right. Next thing I want to worry about is just having my hand up. Okay, my front hand should be up. Okay, towards my face. Whether you're going to throw any kind of strikes or whatever, it should be up by your head, protecting your head. The other hand, once again, up. Okay, so the next thing you have to learn is being able to shrug your shoulders. Okay, hiding the target area of your head. I can really diminish the amount of space here. Okay, just by shrugging my shoulders. Also, when you get hit in the head, it gets jarred around a lot. It's one of the things that knocks you out. Okay, if you shrug your shoulders up, it stabilizes the skull. Another thing, you don't want to look up and give your chin. You always tuck your chin down. All right, so this is very good. Kind of make it look like you're to your opponent that you're cowering. Okay, you're like, no. All right, but at the same time, you can see how I'm in a very good defensive position. I'm ready to go. All right, hands up all the time. Second rule of thumb, in fighting in general, don't block kicks with your hands. Okay, if he throws some kind of kick and I grab it, my face is completely open for strikes. Okay, unless I'm very fast and he's very bad, it's not going to work out. Maybe I'll scoop the foot and pull it out of the way. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do this in a few minutes, but what I want to remember is I don't want to reach for kicks. Okay, reaching does two things. One, it exposes your face. Two, in order to reach, I have to lean forward, giving him my face again, giving him my chin. Okay, and he can always deliver a punch. Once again, if he throws a kick and I reach, my face is completely exposed. It's very bad. So how do I block these kicks? Okay, first of all, bend your rear leg slightly. Relax, okay? The front leg will come up. So if he throws a kick, I simply raise my front knee. Notice when I do this, I don't have my toes pointed up. I have my toes curled down. Okay, so his foot won't hook in here. It won't hurt my ankle. Okay, toes down. My knee comes up to about waist level or slightly above, not here. Okay, so it's going to block off this whole side of my body here. So when he brings it up, I simply raise my knee. So if he wants to throw a kick, let's throw a kick. I block it like that, or I can still keep my hands up here. Now I'm not staying here through the whole fight and balancing around the whole time. Okay, that would be difficult to fight. I'd be off balance. It's just for the moment that he delivers the kick, and it's always faster. It's much easier for me just to raise my leg than it is for him to bring his whole leg here and get me. Okay? For the rear leg, just change the angle of your leg. We're trying to make everything very simple. I want to give you 100 blocking techniques for every kick he's going to have. You're never going to remember. It's going to take years to master. This can be mastered in 1 month or less. Okay? So when he throws the rear one, I change the angle of my leg. I just change it. I don't want to stay here because now, my groin is exposed. I just simply change the angle. Okay? And if any of you have ever caught a shin, on somebody's knee, okay, or hard shit, it really hurts. It's going to be very discouraging for him. Not going to want to throw a lot of kicks. Punches is very simple. You want to parry, okay? Keep your hands in a box in a very small area. Never reach for a punch. Okay, never reach. You might miss. It's going to hit you. But here, you just deflect. Deflect. Okay? Just remember, he's only here. You just have to deflect it an inch. This much. Okay, nothing. Use your wrist. Turning the wrist. For outside punches, once again, I can actually, without even blocking this, which isn't always the best idea, if he tries to throw like maybe some kind of hooking punch, I can make it so that there's really not much here to hit. All right? we'll discuss that a little later, but here just basically we can deflect these techniques. All right. What about this hand? Same concept, but you want to parry here, just a tap. Never over parry because it exposes my face. Okay, so never over parry. All right. Just tap it down. Just get it out of the way. Here. Okay. Okay. All I have to do is tap it that much for it to go off course. The inch or two that I need it to go off course. So the outside is the same thing here. Okay, if it's closer this way, closer this way. Okay, so it depends. You got to look. It's experience. You're going to practice, but it depends on where it is in my face. If it's closer to this way, I'm not going to parry it through the center line of my face. I'm going to parry it this way. Okay. If it's closer to this end of my face, I'm just going to tap it this way. So I'm just making these simple moves. I'm either tapping the hand down or pushing it to the side. But notice how my wrists do more moving than my actual arms for a number of reasons. One, because I could expose my face. Two, uppercuts. Any kind of strike that comes from this angle here. What do? I don't want to reach down because once again, expose my face. I'm only so fast like a windshield wiper movement. A lot of very good people, like boxers, they'll bring the punch back up here. So if he drops his hand, I'll swing back up and hit him here. It's not just this hand here. I need this hand to defend the side of my face at all times. Okay? So you can't say, well, he'll block the punch here, and then I'll just use this hand to deflect it. Okay? What if he blocks it here, I throw this one and then this one? It's going to get hit. So we have to keep our hands up. So if he throws a punch here, I crunch. I just crunch. My elbow is almost at my belt line. So I simply crunch it a little bit. Okay, so for here, I crunch it. Okay, don't over-address punches. Second thing you have to remember throughout this whole process is that I'm not going to stand here and box with him for a half hour. Okay, there's going to be a few blows delivered before I make my move to the clinch, before I grab him, which we'll discuss next. Okay, so you're just crunching your body. If it comes this way, I crunch it. My hands are still up. If it comes this way, I crunch it. Okay, comes to the center, it's the same concept as the line. Okay, if it comes a little to this side of my body, I crunch this way. If it comes too far to this side of my center line, I crunch that way. So it's keeping it very simple. So he goes to throw something, I'm here. Okay, because it's closer to this side of the center line, and my face is still protected. Okay. So I'm just crunching and keeping myself very tight. So my arms don't move very much. Okay, just a tiny bit. And this is simple. It's economical, and it requires very little energy. As I mentioned in the introduction, we have to learn how to fight people who don't know Jiu-Jitsu before we can beat people who know Jiu-Jitsu. All right, so we're going to assume that people are going to be trying to strike us. That's why we have to keep our guard up as we get into the clinch, all right? If we're just doing jiu-jitsu versus someone who wants to do jiu-jitsu to me or wrestle me, you know, it might be okay to kind of widen myself up or open myself up or use a penetration step and leave my face open, okay? In a fight where our environment is uncertain, okay, or I don't know his abilities, I have to assume that he can knock me out very easily. That's what I'm most worried about. If he dives at me and grabs me around the waist and we start grappling, I'm less worried. I do jiu-jitsu too, so we'll play a little bit. All right, but here, I don't want to get hit. That's my main concern. All right, so as I keep my hands up, I want to start to figure out how to get to the clinch position. All right? Here's the deal. When I clinch, I essentially want to hold around his waist. Okay, so I'm going to show you where we're going to be and then how to get there. I'm going to hold around his waist. It's very important not to just let go here. Because if I'm not holding him, he can push away and get away from me very easily. Okay? I have to clasp my hands together. Now, depending on the size of his body, I may only be able to get this kind of hold. Okay? If he's smaller, I might be able to grab my wrist and tighten it. I'll hold my hands here. Okay? It's two different kind of basic clinch positions here. One, head to the front, which I think is the best. When my head is to the front, I'm not susceptible to guillotine chokes, things like that. A lot of people worry about the headlock here, which we'll discuss in a minute. But as long as I have my arm here, he can't get me in a headlock. Another important thing I do, I hide my face. One side is protected by his belly. The other side is protected by my bicep. Okay, so when I hold him here, I'm protecting myself. Okay, protecting my face. It's very hard for him to get at me. Another thing you'll notice, I'm standing to the side. I don't want to stand to the front, which will enable him to knee me in the groin. I stand to the side of his body, holding him, tucking my hand. From this position, it's very hard for him to get off any effective strikes. If I notice he wants to use elbows to the back of my head, I raise my body up. If I come up underneath his arm, he won't be able to get distance in order to get any kind of power off the elbow strike. This is where I want to be in order to initiate the takedowns we'll discuss later. The first method I'm going to use to get to the clinch position, okay, is just kind of faking him out, all right? As you know, I need a clear path to the waist. If I get somebody who's holding their hands like this, well, that's easy, all right? But I still have to be careful on the way in. What I want to do is maybe he has his hands lower. I don't have a really great clear path to the waist. I want to get him to remove his elbow, okay? Also, I want to get him to do something different, okay, besides hitting me. How do I do this? Well, if I throw a punch, he's probably going to block it. All right? He's going to be occupied here, both mentally and physically. I throw a punch here. Okay? Now, the thing is, I don't want to throw a really fast punch because then maybe he won't even react to it. All right? I want to get him to react to the punch. So this means I'm going to throw it a little bit slower. I want his attention over here. Okay? Now, if you're not a great puncher, it doesn't matter. Keep your fist open and throw a slapping move. Okay, just a slap. If you hit him with it, it's probably going to hurt. All right, so it doesn't matter. I have to keep my hand up. All right, so we're going to do a very simple thing here. I'm just going to throw a wide punch. I'm going to let it swing out a little bit. In case we're working against a boxer here, my other hand's got to be up in case he decides to throw some kind of counter punch immediately. All right, so I just keep this hand up in case something happens. Let's say I throw this punch here and he throws that out immediately. Okay, I can still parry it. All right, so my hand is still up. All right, so but what I want to do, I want him to see it. I want him to react to it. So I throw a little haymaker out here, okay? As I come in, just keep it simple. Just step forward and follow up. Okay, we're just on the feet now, okay? Here, 1, 2, follow up. Notice I come off to the side. I don't want to expose my groin completely and walk in. All right, I want to come to the side. Everything natural and comfortable. Okay, don't go crazy. Don't stiffen up. Just comfortable, natural move. But my hand is up, ready for the other strike. I'm also walking away from the power of this hand here, just coming around, okay, this way. All right, kind of getting out of the way. All right, so it's comfortable. Here, that's it. Get really comfortable, relax. You may just want to be like, hey, I don't want to fight. All right, notice how my head hit his belly first. So let's put it all together. My hands are up. I throw the strike so that he blocks. Step forward, my hand is still up. And clinch. During the second method of getting to the clinch, I'm going to use a method called baiting. The last method, I initiated the attack. This one, I'm going to bait him to attack me. Okay? Now, this may seem like a crazy idea because I'm getting, a chance of getting kicked or punched, but I'm going to make his attack predictable by leaving certain things open. All right? I'm going to use my same basic stance here, all right? Keeping my back hand up, but I'm going to drop my lead hand slightly, all right? Now, if I keep my face closed, it's a very bad idea. What I'm going to do here is keep my hand back, or my head back, all right? I'm going to be further away from him. So even if you can get it, I'm still too far away, okay? So I kind of lean back slightly, putting a little bit of the weight on my back leg, okay? Slightly leaning back. If you get into trouble here, very easy, simple technique, which works with the blocking of the leg, okay, is just kicking, pushing him away, okay? Just a simple push kick here, okay? I can always make distance, push him away, basically by raising my leg up, okay? It has to come up to waist level. If you do it from here, it's no good. Waist level, and then throwing the leg up. This you can also do in conjunction with the block. Let's say he throws his leg out to kick. Now he's very off balance, and I can kick him, creating distance or disabling him, okay? So here's what I want to do. And be in this position. I always know that I have my safety here. If I get him in a lot of trouble, I can, boom, push him off. Okay, kick his leg, make him go away. A lot of times, if you're very uncomfortable about a striker, you can very often kind of like jab at his leg just to kind of keep him away from you until you're comfortable making your entry. All right, once I'm here, I'm going to back up and I'm going to lower this a little bit. Okay? So I'm very close to him, actually. Okay? It's deceptive. I'm only this far away. He is how far away from my face. Okay? You see? I can grab him, he can barely punch me. He can't reach my face at all. So I'm baiting him. Okay, maybe I'll start here and I'll give him something to notice. I'll drop my hand here. See, he really wants to punch my face now. It's open. Because if he looks at the whole situation, I'm covered here completely. Okay, maybe he threw a couple kicks and my leg keeps coming up. But I drop my hand. It's an obvious opening. It's a clear opening. But not too obvious. I'm not sticking my face out at him, okay? I'm here and I just kind of make a very, very subtle opening. Okay, so he thinks, oh, here's my chance. All right? Once I see this opening, the entry and the footwork is the same as the last one. We won't go over that again. But what's going to change here is just how I come in. I'm going to loop my hand down. And before it was up. Now it's just down, the same thing. Okay, you can even grab this hand as you come in so that it can't do anything to you. So here, he throws the punch, I come under. Because I'm coming under, I gotta watch out for this hand. Okay? Be aware. Some guys just grab the hands. A lot of times for self-defense, some guys just grab both hands. Now I can't hit me at all, and I go here. Alright? So you can grab the hand if you like. Here, blocking this away, holding, and I'm in my clinch position again. Here, okay? You see it coming a mile away here. All right. Once I've arrived at the clinch position from the front, I have a number of different options. Once again, I want to keep it simple. I want you guys to be good, really good, okay, at just a couple of different techniques, okay? Not knowing 100 techniques to take him down, but not really being able to do any of them. All right, so once I'm here, I have a few different options, all right? The first one that I love the most, okay, is just dropping down. All I'm going to do here, okay, is drop my body to the floor. All right, just very simple. I'm going to let my body fall straight down. A lot of people, they disengage and go for the legs again, okay, or they lean forward. Because I'm just falling straight down, it's not very hard on my knees, okay? It's not a very difficult move. So here, I'm just going to drop my body straight to the floor, okay? Just drop straight down. Once I'm here, you'll notice that my chest is against his leg. It's blocking his leg's movement. My arms will control the outside of this leg, the outside movement here, his ability to step away or sprawl. I'm going to do a very simple technique here. I'm going to pull his leg into me as I puff my chest forward. Here. And drive off my back leg, okay, to take him down. So I'm pressing forward, pulling in, driving off my back leg. Take him to the floor. You'll notice that my head doesn't leave his belly. So as he comes up, I was always here the whole time. So that even if he did decide to strike at this point, my head's hidden. He doesn't have much of a target. Okay, but he's on his way down. I'm not going to stay here forever. So right here, I'm pushing my head in this direction. Okay? And pulling. So I'm pulling, pushing, and driving off with my leg. Once I'm in the clinch position, at times my opponent's legs may be very wide here. He may take a very defensive stance. So if I go down, I might have to do a little extra grabbing, more grabbing than I want. Or if I have short arms, I might not be able to get his outside leg. All right? But my leg can reach. So what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to take him down by simply putting my leg behind his and falling back. Now, a lot of people would say, well, why would you fall back on the street? You're going to hurt yourself. My head is at the front of him, okay? He will absorb the fall for me, all right? So what I'm going to do here is very simple. Don't make this overcomplicated with technical details. Just simply step behind him and let your weight fall straight back, okay? Nice and relaxed. Once I hit the floor, fix your base here. Come up to both your knees. You can't always assume that all his attacks will come from this side. Sometimes he'll be throwing a hard punch right away. Maybe he's not a boxer, he won't set it up with a jab. Maybe he'll just throw his hard hand right away. In this case, you have to be prepared. What we're going to do here is a very simple punch defense technique. My hands were up. As he throws this punch, it may be a straight, in which case, just across here, the parrying works just fine. If I have extra time, he may throw like a hook, a wider punch. Okay, maybe he's not an experienced boxer. Okay, he's doing a rear hook, which is weird. He's throwing it here, very awkward kind of punch, but very common, okay, in any kind of street fight. Here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to step in, same type of footwork as before, not to get too complicated, but I'm going to put my hand up. Okay, it blocks off the whole side here. All right, you get a little added bonus technique here. As you come forward, you can drive your elbow into his shoulder. Okay, it creates a little bit of pain and really off balances him. Okay, so just drive your shoulder forward. Okay, your head will usually end up right here on the other side of his head. It makes it very hard for him to hit you with this hand. All right, so it's very simple. Once again, I just raise it up. Once I step in, throws the punch, I step in, I'm going to rotate around his arm here, capturing it. I'm not always going to have the gi, if I have the gi, I'll hold it, but just wrap it around. It doesn't require the use of the gi. Okay, not here, just above his elbow bends here, just above his elbow. Okay, so right here, 1, 2, very simple. The other hand goes behind him, okay, underneath his body. Okay, right here. If I have a belt or pants or something to grab onto, that's a good idea. All right here. Okay, whatever, fabric, okay, a belt, anything to grab onto, underneath. So this hand's here, 1, 2, and grabbing underneath. Remember, I don't need this hand up anymore because I'm protected on the side of his face. And hold him like this. Okay? It's very hard for him to hit me with his left hand, just my back. Okay, I'm also a little sideways to him. Okay, I'm not squaring off. Or I could be kneed in the groin. I'm here. If I want, I could knee him. Alright? So I'm in a very good position. He cannot hit me. Once I'm in, this is a great, great technique, okay? The hip throw. I'm going to step around, alright? And bend my knees. My hips have to stay down, okay? Right here. Alright? I shouldn't have my legs too far apart or too close together. Alright? Comfortably. Here. Toes pointed slightly out. Okay? The most important thing is that you'll notice my belt line comes below his. Alright? So his leg is lining up with the center of my back. Alright? And my hips have to be slightly out here. I'm going to load him onto my back. Okay? My posture's straight. I don't want to be leaning forward or in a weird position. You should look in the direction you're about to throw your opponent. You're going to use your legs to lift your opponent. It's very easy, okay? Very easy. It's not very heavy here. He's on my back, okay? Legs to lift. Once I have him in the air, obviously I'm not going to hold him here for long. I'm just simply going to twist my body until he falls. Once he falls, I should establish control. We're going to go over this more when we discuss the top holds. But try not to, fall forward. As he falls, straighten your back up. There's a lot of submission techniques here, that you can do on his arm locks and things. But right now, we're trying to get a good idea of, where we should be positionally. You can rest your knee here, put your leg out at a 45-degree angle. Just don't fall forward. We discussed the kicking defense before, just the basic concept of raising your leg, okay, to block the kick. What we want to do now is a follow-through. Maybe he throws a kick, and I'd like to use that to take him down. All right, so here what we're going to do is just go over again. Once again, our hands are up. He throws, let's say he just throws a kick here to this side, all right, and I block it. All right, it's very simple. If you can time it right, as he kicks it, boom, you can hook for a second and grab. Now, like I said before, you don't want to reach for the kick, so I have to do something to make my body get closer to him and off balance him. Another thing is the kind of punches someone throws when they're on one foot are very different from the kind of punches that they throw when they have both feet planted on the floor. So let's just look at the first part of this here, off of the defense from the kick. We defend, okay? And what I'm going to do now, as soon as I feel his leg touch mine, I hook his foot, okay? It kind of off balance him and it stabilizes the leg just for a second. I'm not going to stand there and play like that. Okay, but I'm just going to defend, hook, just so I can grab it here, okay? So we're just looking at this part. Everything else I'm not doing perfectly. All right, so just the legs, right here. 1, 2, and grab it. Okay, so I want to just hook up his ankle right here. We're going to block kick again, hook, and this time I'm going to step in. When I step in, I have to be very careful that I don't get hit. All right? For street fight, for a serious situation, you can just press the guy's face. You can just cram your head right into his face. I want to get my head close as I come in. So I'm going to step in here. Okay? So if you watch my left leg, I'm stepping in, and my head is coming close. Now, I don't want to get punched. I don't want to leave my face open, because although it won't hurt that much, it's not the most powerful punch, it can still do damage. All right? So I step in here. Okay, so I block, hook, and step in. Now this is very important. See how my heel is up on my left foot. It's going to be hard for me to kick my leg up. I'm going to kind of bring my heel down and straighten my leg out. Okay? Like this. It's gonna make his leg collapse. At the same time, I'm going to twist my whole body hard to this side. Okay? Here. Bring him to the ground. Alright, let's look at it one more time. Okay, so I block the foot, hook it, grab, step in, turn. It's a turning movement. Okay? I twist him. You can feel his leg kind of buckle as I do it. Everything from the standing position that we've discussed so far is based on striking attacks. Okay, someone trying to hit you. Now what we're going to do is someone trying to grab you. All right? Once again, I like to show techniques that work a high percentage of the time, but I also like to show techniques that have that have value, that have work over a larger percent for attacks, that can defend against a larger percent of attacks. So, like for example, this next technique, this will work if he grabs my collar, or if he grabs my neck. So I don't have to worry about learning one technique for this and one technique for this. Okay? Now I've just doubled the amount of training time I have to do to defend against this stuff. Here, it's very simple. So I cut my training time in half just by learning one technique for both of these moves. We'll talk about this a lot on the DVDs. What I'm going to do here, of course you have to watch out. So we're staying still to the side. You have to be very aware that someone might kick you. You can't leave yourself open. So through this whole technique, we've got to watch out. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to bring our arm through the hole, okay, this way. All right, we're also going to duck our head down, so it's the same thing. You can do this just with your head as well. Like if he grabs my neck here, I can rotate my head down. I have a lot of weight here. It's very hard. It's a very weak part of the hand. I can rotate my head down, okay? It's very easy. But I'm going to add my arm. I'm going to control the arm on this side. Once again, the gi's a training tool. You could grab the wrist if you didn't have the gi. Okay, but he's probably going to have a sleeve here. And we're going to go down and through, okay? Down, there's the first move here. Down through. You'll see how there's very little to hit here. All right. We're going to follow up with some arm lock techniques, but let's say he lets go. Worst case scenario, you know, I'm just here. I can do a very simple arm lock, which we'll detail in a second. All right. For here, let's say he holds on. Let's say with the lapels. Okay. Very strong guy. He's got an attitude here, an ego. He doesn't want to let go. As I come through, you're going to notice right here that his wrist begins to turn on my lapel. This one's going to go right away. That's hard to hold on to. Okay, his arm is all twisted up here. This hand, he's putting pressure on his own wrist by grabbing. The harder he grabs, he's going to unlock himself. Okay? If you do this really fast, you're going to actually throw a guy over by the pressure on his wrist. All right, but we'll do it nice and slow here. I come down and through, and here now I take advantage of the fact. Now, whether he wants to let go or not, I'm not going to let him. I'm going to grab his wrist, so my thumb is against where his thumb is, and I cup the meat of his hand here with my fingers. So you'll notice that my palm is on top of his wrist. As I come through, I'm going to twist my hand up and bring my elbow down. This creates a really nice wrist lock. Okay? If you want, you can just wrist lock a guy here like this. Okay? That hurts. And you can also get additional control by putting his arm here. So I have a wrist lock here, twisting him. Because a lot of guys will try to walk around forward. All right? You stop that forward motion by twisting his wrist this way. See what happens when I twist his wrist this way, clockwise, his body comes back this way. So I don't even need to control. So as I'm here, coming back to the beginning of the situation, I come through, I get a hold of his wrist. Okay? And I twist it. Now if he wants to come back at me, Bob. He can't. It's putting pressure on his wrist by walking towards me. If I let go, he can come back. Okay? So some people do this arm lock alone. He can kind of force his way down. He can press his arm down and walk back around. With the wrist, he can't move that way. Right? Even without holding the wrist, I can still get myself out of this situation. Maybe it's somebody really trying to hurt you. You're here, you come through, twist his wrist, bend. Yeah, no, now he's not turning back at me, and I keep pressure going this way on his wrist. Forget about it. Okay, here he's mine, that's it. Okay, the situation's over. Everything up until this point has been a defense for an attack from the front. Now we're going to work on defending against attacks from the back, which is better for a jiu-jitsu player. This is much easier because they're used to grappling, and I don't have to worry as much about striking, of course, unless he hits me from behind with something, which there's not too much of a defense for anyway. All right, this next defense is very common. It's for a rear choke. Now, most people, when they get you in a street fight, they don't know how to do the choke correctly. So they're grabbing more like this, okay? If a guy does the whole thing correctly, this is very difficult to get out of, but still not impossible, all right? But most of the time, you're going to feel it hit here first. You can't wait. You can't just go like this, then wait for someone to get the whole thing in and come. You have to address it here, okay? This is the important part. If it's tight, you need to make a little space right here. You need to just cup his wrist here and hold. Okay. The other hand, grab any kind of piece of fabric here. If you don't have fabric, you can just grab the guy's shoulder, okay, or hold here. Get some kind of secure hold here. Just by cupping the guy's shoulder, usually you can get a secure hold. Once I'm here, I'm going to do the same move as the hip throw. Once again, it's learning one technique that will work for both of these defenses, which is fantastic, okay, because we don't have to learn a whole lot to be able to defend against a lot. So I'm going to hold him here, okay, so he's going to get me in the situation here, holding me. I'm going to hold him, and I'm going to do the same thing, dropping my knees, okay, same basic type of idea, okay, his leg is in the middle of mine, but this time my feet have to be a little closer. I'm going to do more of a wood chopping type of move. I'm not going to be here as much as I'm going to be here. As my heels come down, my legs straighten up. Notice the line of my hips. My hips are up in the air. As my legs straighten, my hips raise. That'll bring him up off the floor. So when I'm here, he's going to hold me. I got to make sure I don't get choked. I turn a little bit. You can feel the alignment of his body. I can feel him against my shoulder. I know I got to pop my shoulder out to be lined up. I lower here, okay, and I bring him up onto my back. Okay, I'm not going to hold him forever. And turn, just like I did before. During this next technique, he's going to have some idea of what he's doing. So he's going to hold me, he's going to put this foot at the back of my leg here. Just not the hook, but the push, yeah. Push my leg. Yes. Why? Because now I can't move my leg, I can't come forward. And he can spread me back where he wants me. It's easy to choke. Alright, so here he's using his leg. What do? Hook his hand the way I said before. Right here. Cup his wrist. If you can get a hold of things like for self-defense, like the thumb, it's fantastic. Okay? So you hold whatever you can, depending on the situation. But if you can get the thumb, that's great. Alright? Help peel it off. A lot of guys will just go for that. Okay? But here, using just a nice jiu-jitsu technique, I'm going to hold his bicep right above the elbow. I'm going to pull it down toward me. Alright? What I'm going to do now is, as I pull the elbow down, I'm going to roll my shoulder into his hand. This puts a little pressure on his shoulder here. Okay, so I roll my shoulder down, and I start to walk around in a circle here. So he's kicking me out, but I walk around him. Okay, he feels a lot of pressure on his shoulder here. Okay, and because I'm pulling down on his arm, it's very difficult for him to move back toward me. So just so you can see the follow-up. We're going to be here. I'm pulling down. I'm rolling the shoulder and pulling in. Two different motions. Pushing, pulling. Okay? I walk around, and if he doesn't go down here, all I have to do is step behind his leg here. Okay? I just keep walking. Step behind his leg. Make it easy. Okay? And I sweep him down to the floor. Okay? Once again. We're here. He's pushing. So I can't do my move. I can't do my throw. Okay? It's not going to look pretty today. Here. Okay? Pressing down, and here just. Okay? Reach his leg. This time my partner has me in a bear hug, okay, around my arms. Alright? This is very difficult for a lot of people because you can't move. Alright? We're just in a few different steps. The first step, we're going to lower my body down. Okay? Just lowering it down. This makes it hard to grab alone. A lot of people, if they're very big and strong, they're going to kind of lift you and pull you and control you, try to move you somewhere. That's why they did this. Alright, here, if he just starts to move me and I settle my weight, it's very hard for him to even move me, okay? So that's the first thing. Alright, the one issue we have to worry about is if he doesn't know jiu-jitsu, and I drop down, he may move to the choke. He may move to this rear choke, okay? So you have to be conscious of this throughout the entire move, right? Just to let you know. You have to be aware. Sometimes I grab here or whatever. You're going to be okay. But we're going to lower ourselves down. Now, simultaneously, what I want you guys to do is you're going to raise your arms up. If I wanted to raise my arms up alone, probably can't do it, okay? I have to lower myself down and raise my arms up. Now here's what we're going to do. If I expand my chest by breathing in, okay, it makes everything wider. If I let out, it makes everything smaller. So we're going to do this very quickly, all right, so that we can slide out. So here, what we'll do is expand my chest and breathe out. I disappear for a second. Okay, I can kind of get out. Even if it doesn't break his hold, if I do it really hard, I'll probably break his hold because I'm maybe a little stronger. So here, I might be able to kind of like loosen this. I'm really loose, all right? So here, just going to get your best, right here. Okay, once I'm here, I have a lot of mobility now. What I'm going to do right now, you can probably control the hands. It's a very good idea. I'm going to just step behind. Notice how much space I made with my legs here. I really shot my legs out when I came down, all right? I have room now to step behind the guy. Okay, I'm behind him now. This is a great position. Okay, so right here. Okay, now behind him. Once I'm behind him, he's done. It's finished. Okay, I grab one leg here, and I just rock back and dump him over my leg. And he's like on a chair. Okay, my left thigh is like a little seat for him. Okay, so I'm not using a lot of strength. I'm not picking him up. I'm rolling him over my leg. Here. Okay, so I don't want to lift the guy all the way in the air with strength. I'm just kind of dumping him over my leg. Okay, once again, breathe in. Okay, out. Holding here, careful in case he chokes. Around, and you can dump. Now my opponent has me in a headlock. Maybe when I was doing the last move, he decided to switch to this move here. Maybe when I was clinching with him, I didn't keep my arm in the front like I was supposed to. Whatever the case may be, I'm in a headlock now. If I give my chin, it could be a choke, all right? But you dip your chin, it's not a choke. I'm going to hold here to take some pressure off. Second thing, if he lets go, all right, I have to cup his arm here so that he can't punch me in the face. It's very important that you defend against punches right away. Cup here, all right? That's important to know. So right here, one, and cup here. You got to be careful to watch it. And now I'm going to try to make my move, all right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to come over his head, pointing my palm to the floor. Now we're going to use the wrist motion again here. I'm going to twist the wrist. It's very important. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to look up. As you can see, breaks his arm off a little bit and press his face away. There's a lot of nerves here too, so if you resist a little bit, you press his face, it hurts. Okay? So I get this ridge of my hand in his cheekbone here, or underneath. There's a lot of nerves right there. Okay? Pressing away, right into his face here. Okay? As I press away, I turn my hand. Okay? So I look up, press away and turn my hand. I'm going to push his hip around to spin him around. Alright, so let's look at this part right here. Again. Okay, just that. Now let's add the head here. I do a better job with my head. So I look up, really break it, maybe stronger. Here. Okay, push him around. Okay, notice how I get weight over his head here as I turn him. So now my hand is pointed up from the turning. It was here, and I looped around. I just scooped. So that my hand is under his chin. Okay, I'm under his chin, my thumb is up. Once I get him here, I'm just going to put my hand on his shoulder, just like this. Okay, really simple, blocking his move. Maybe he wants to come take me down now or something, I can block his shoulder. Very simple. As he comes around though, I'm going to try to get his head where it was when I came around. Let's look at it again so that you can put it all together for yourself. Here, spinning around, look, his head is trapped underneath my armpit. My thumb is up underneath his chin. I press his shoulder. My other hand goes, I'm going to make some space here so that you can see. My hand touches my own wrist. Right here. Okay, so I'm right here. This is very tight already. To increase the pressure, I don't want to like get up on my toes too much. I'm very off balance. He can put me on the floor. What I'm going to do is this. Just a simple move with my wrist. And this is going to be reoccurring for a couple movements during this DVD series. Like this. You'll notice how my wrist raises up a couple inches here when I do this. Now you notice before my wrist raised up, it's going to raise up into his neck. I'm going to squeeze with my arm a little bit to cut off this side of his neck here. Squeezing and doing this. It's much easier than pulling. Okay? Very technical movement. Here and squeeze. Here, squeeze. You see, I didn't have to go far to get him to tap out. All right, here's one that's not in the book. This is my very favorite technique for rear grab defenses because it works under just so many different movements, no matter what he does. Some people get you in a full Nelson here, okay? This will work. It's great. All right, the one thing about the full Nelson I just want to address is when you're going to get out of it, it's very easy to break the grip if you bring your hands together, okay, and you squeeze your fingers together. See how? Make a little winch here, just like this. All right? My elbows have to come down, okay? So a lot of technique involved. My head goes back. It'll break his hands off. All together at the same time. All right? Now from here, there's all kinds of moves. You can arm lock the guy, but if I'm worried about my neck, this move can be a submission. It can hurt my neck a lot. So I hold here, okay? It's very powerful because sometimes you can't reach your own hands if you have short hands, but you can just get the fingertips. If you can get the fingertips, then you can get the rest. All right? So here, once I have this, it's good for this hold, for any rear naked choke. This will work for everything, everything. Okay, so we'll do it from here, from the full Nelson. I love this move because no matter what kind of hold he does, it's a no-brainer. I do the same thing with my feet, and we did it before. Okay, really simple. I step behind, and it was just like the clinch move, but it's better. With the clinch move, when we took him down, our arm was behind him, so our arm kind of did hit the ground. Here, my arm's in front of him, all right here. All I'm going to do is step behind him and fall, okay? He's going to absorb all the weight from this, okay? Nothing hits the ground except a piece of my leg. I fall. Oh, okay, I try to be nice to Bob because he's my friend, but if I go very hard, all my weight hits his ribcage, hits his diaphragm, probably knock the wind out of him, and if not, I'm in a great position. I'm on top of him, can't really hit me with his knees or anything, just legs out for balance. Okay, right here, and I can always change to the mount position or something better and finish the fight, okay? Let's look at it again. Maybe this time he has me just holding here, whatever, okay? You can just hold here, just step around him and fall, okay? Once again, did it slow for my partner. I don't want to do it very hard, okay, for practice. Let's look at the choke. Maybe he's choking me, okay? Right here. This is kind of bad. You can't hold the choke, okay? Let me get the choke out. See? There's nothing. It's nothing here, okay? If I want more pressure down, I just fix my position here. There's nothing, but he can't complete the choke with his arms at that angle. All right? I'm in a safe position now. Now I'm in the guard position. Guard position is basically any time when my opponent is controlling me with his legs. Okay? So when he is on his back, the only good place for him to be is basically controlling me with his legs. Alright? If I'm past his legs, it's bad for him, good for me. If I'm in between his legs, I don't want to go for any kind of submission on him. I'm not in a really great position to finish the fight. Okay? He has leverage with his legs. All right? So I'm in between his legs, and if he doesn't have any kind of guard at all, let's say I threw him to the ground and he's not really using his legs, well, of course you can just move his legs to the side and come around. Just push him to the side. But Bob knows Jiu-jitsu. So Bob's going to begin in the closed guard. He's going to close his legs around me, which means he has his ankles crossed down my back, so I can't just get up or get away. So this is the first part to passing the guard. Every guard pass has 4 basic parts. First is posture. Second is uncrossing his ankles so that I can begin to move around his legs. The third is controlling his hips. The hips control the movement of the legs and how far they can go. And then the fourth would be passing the legs. What I want to do now is make sure that I do not let him control my balance. I want to get my posture. It's not completely wrong to put, your arm be forward and put your arm on the floor. Sometimes you have to do that. You see this in sport jiu-jitsu a lot. We're not going to worry about it right now. In fact, we're not going to worry a lot about sport jiu-jitsu or the points right now. I want you guys to concentrate on the basic positions, the details of each technique, and really learn each technique so we're not playing sport specific. I don't want you guys to try to come up with sport specific strategies and go in that direction. Let's learn how to defend ourselves. Let's learn the techniques so we're not thinking about winning tournaments just yet. All right. What I want to do here is, if I do get forced to the ground, I have to hide my arms here a little bit. Okay? I have to be very cautious because you could choke me or unlock me and do things. But essentially, I want to make my way back up here. Okay, this is really where I want to be. I want to push off his chest and be up here on the top. All right, that's how I want to posture. All right, he may try to choke my neck here, use a collar choke, which we'll learn later on. So I don't want to give my neck. Okay, if someone chokes you, it's really simple guard defense. Shrug your shoulders. Okay, you can see. Let's see if he does it on this side better. We'll be able to get a better detail. See how he's under my neck here? Okay, that's what's going to choke me. If I shrug my shoulder and drop my chin, he's not on my neck anymore. Do you see where my neck is safe? Don't overreact. Never overreact to your opponent's move. If you start going crazy, I'm going to fall off balance. He can get my arm. Okay, relax. All right, here, shrug. Okay, don't overreact. Second thing, I know I'm doing it now for the demonstration, but don't put your hands on the floor. All right, if I put my hands on the floor, he can sit up freely. All right, he can sit up freely and attack. Put your hands on him, but don't extend your arms. If you extend your arms, it's much easier for him to get you in an arm lock. All right. The way you should grab the gi, for now, this is our training wheels here. Okay, so we're going to learn how to practice with the gi first. Okay, when we go into the guard work chapter, I'm going to show you guys how to work an arm lock and a triangle choke with and without the gi and some of the differences. But right now, we're beginners in jiu-jitsu. We just started. Okay, so like riding a bike, we need our training wheels. All right, we're not going to take the gi off just yet. You got to train for a little while with the gi and get used to it. It makes you technical, and it's going to bring a certain sophistication to the game that will help you as an advanced player of jiu-jitsu. So I'm going to grab the gi like this here, okay? Because if I just put it here, he may be able to pull my arm off, okay? And once again, I'm off balance. Okay, so I can grab the gi right now and hold on. When I don't have it, we're going to have different techniques to use. But right now, I'll use the gi. I want to crawl my way back up top. Most beginners, they'll grab the belt, which is fine. Okay, the belt's fine. I'm hooking my hands here and pushing down. Okay, why? Because he's going to sit up. Okay, when he goes to sit up, see, he can pull me down with him. All right, or he can begin to sweep me over, turn me over, or attack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive the belt, not just in his belly. If I hold here, he can still sit up. And it crushes my wrists. All right, I want to push the belt up here. Now it's very hard for him to sit up. Okay. Another thing he's going to try to do, if I keep my elbows out, he's going to hook under my elbows and pull me down this way. All right? I don't want to keep my elbows out. All right? It's bad to keep my elbows in if I've extended my arm, because he'll get the arm lock. But I can put my elbows in if it's not extended. He can't get the arm lock. So I can hold the belt. That's fine. You notice as I bring my elbows in, I'm turning my hands this way. That's very important. Okay, I'm also pushing into Bob's rib cage. Okay, the bottom of his rib cage. Okay, that's where I want to push. I don't want to push too low because once again, kind of wrist lock myself for myself. I'm pushing up. Okay? I can also use the pants, which is much better. If you can get a hold of this, if you can sit up here, rest for a second, and then grab the pants. If you can grab the pants like this and pull the pants up, that's the very best way. Once I have this position here, you'll notice that Bob he's not going to be able to sit up here. Okay, try to sit up. No way. Okay, and locking him out like a car jack. Okay, locking him out. Okay, if he wants to dig for my arms here, it's going to be very hard now because he can't sit up. He can't really do anything. Okay, so I'm bracing him. All right, the pants once again. The pants are the best way, but let's use a good easy reference point for you guys. All right, sometimes the pants can be bad because if you don't have the wrist technique, you're going to get pulled off. So for a beginner, this is a great reference point for you guys, and this is perfectly fine. You also notice that my thumbs are hooked in, so if he pulls my hand forward, it's locked, and I don't waste a lot of energy grabbing. Okay, so I just lock my hand in, and he's not going to pull me out. Another thing you notice is I wedge my hand down here, my palm. Okay, it's not like this, because then he could easily break it off. All right, it's in this direction. Okay, so I'm holding. Now I have my posture. All right, this is important. And my posture, I'm all set. Next thing, I'm going to try to break the hooks. When I go to break the hooks, this is very important. I don't want to have my butt coming off the floor too much because then I lean forward again and he'll break my posture. All right, I want to keep my butt to the floor. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make an L shape with my legs. Okay, an L. I'm going to put my knee in the middle of his butt and the other leg out at an angle. All right. How do I do this without coming forward? Well, I slide one knee out first to make a little room. As I slide that knee out, I continue to push his ribs and slide the other knee in. Okay, so now you can see that the knee is in the middle of his butt. And I am up off the floor a little bit. All right. In order to break his hooks, I do a few things. I push on his rib cage. I slide my left knee back. Okay, and I make a move like a cat stretch. I bring my shoulders up, my head down, and my lower back I round out. So my head's going this way, my lower back's going that way as I slide my butt to the floor. You'll notice that the biggest problem with this is on this side here. When I bring my knee out to an angle, I have a good base on this side, but I can easily be turned over on this side. When I put my knee on the butt on this side, if I stay straight on, I don't have much of a base. Okay? So here's what I have to do. You have to watch my angle. Okay? If I go straight on with you guys here, you can see how my body angles. Okay? This way. So now, I don't have enough weight here. My head is very heavy, and if I put my head upside, if I'm here, I can feel, see, I can feel I'm losing it, all right? And I don't want to, under any circumstances, bring my leg up, because this gives him a whole world of attacks, okay? It may seem like a good idea, but it's a horrible idea, okay? I don't want to do that. I want to be here and slide back, okay? See the angle? I'm not here, okay? Here. And break the hooks. Let's take a look at it from the back. Okay, so once we have the hooks open, my partner is probably, going to start to move around, all right? The most common thing that people will do is they'll regain some control with their leg and put their feet in the hips, all right? Very common. What I want you guys to do is, whether you're holding the belt or the pants, I want you to continue holding it with the hand that's inside. This is the most dangerous point, okay? Because now he has good hip control here. He can easily, if I let go, pull me back in and get a submission like that choke. Okay? I don't want this. So I hook his belt, hold it. Okay? My elbow down. I don't do this now. And with through all this work, I want to stay here. Okay? Here. If he moves away, I follow. Alright? I want to keep my distance close. I want to control his hips. Alright? But right here, he's going to stay. And what I want to do now is get his foot off my hip. Real easy move. I bring my arm straight back. Alright? Just straight back here. Alright? What I'm going to do now is just a very, very standard pass. Everybody learns it. But there's a lot of problems with this. A lot of people think that when they do this pass, they can just stick the arm underneath and they let this hand go. It's going to be so easy for him to choke me. I never want to put one arm in, one arm out. Never do this. Never, never, never. Never look down. He's going to get you every time. Okay? Here, I'm going to back up. He can't put me in the triangle choke. My elbow needs to be here. Okay? Because he can't. If my elbow's here, he can. If my elbow's here, he cannot. He can never do it. Okay? And once again, my hand is going this way to wedge. Okay? So I'm going here. I can stick my arm out. It doesn't matter. There's no submission here. Okay? There's no triangle choke at all. Nothing. Now, here's the deal. Most people do this. My goal is to get here. Okay, but check it out. Most people, when they go to get it, they bring their hand up in a wide circle and around. If I bring my arm out this way, Bob, put your leg on the floor. I can't lift my arm. It's hard, okay? No way. It's not going to work. Never. I want to make it straight at him. Okay, so you watch my angle here. I come here, underneath, watch. Okay, Bob, put your leg on the floor now. Straight. Forget it. It's going to go right up on my shoulder nicely. I've seen a lot of techniques where the guy does this kind of move here, and no way, nobody, look, it's going to work, but don't develop a bad habit now. I understand we're training for a white belt level against people who don't know much, but someone who doesn't know much isn't going to be doing the guard, okay? If somebody knows the guard, they're going to know these moves. So I don't want to put my leg up, I don't want to grab, I don't want to reach behind me. All this stuff is going to get you in trouble, all right? You want to have a good base and shoot straight forward. Now, once I'm forward, I'm going to begin to pass the legs here. I'm going to grab the gi, my thumb inside. The most important thing here is that the leg is on my shoulder. Most important thing is the leg is on my shoulder and my elbow is in. Because now, as I do this, if he really wants, he can go under my arm and pull it back in. Oh, see, now I'm in the choke again. But if I hide my elbow at my side, he can never get it. Get my arm up. Get my arm. Go underneath. No, he's never going to get my arm. I'm attaching it to my rib. It's attached to my rib. It's a part of my rib. So I'm here. Now, everybody who does this pass, I see 90% do it wrong. Here, they look down and they try to walk around the guy. That's never good. Look, his leg isn't coming off. I'm almost around him. His leg still is not off my head. It's wrong. Okay? What I want you guys to do is you're going to bring your head up, ankle to the back of the head, chest forward. Look at that, it's already off. I didn't even have to walk around him. Let's look at my feet during this process. I'm here, my elbow's in. Okay, I shot forward. Watch how I come forward. My hips come forward into him. And down. A little exaggerated. Okay? So I'm here. Elbow in. Look up, chest forward. Look at that. Leg comes off. And sink down. Hold him. Get your arm out. And we've just passed the guard. We're at the normal pass here, the leg on shoulder pass, or the classic pass, some people call it. One important thing, just to reiterate, as I'm coming around his leg, the temptation is going to be awful to like come around his body like this. All right? Don't do that. You actually, some great people doing this. You watch Joe Moreira, or the guy who really helped refine this pass to me was Michael Jen. Excellent at this pass. It's really interesting that he comes straight at you. Okay, so I'm actually not coming around at all. Watch my body move. I'm coming straight at him. Okay, I can actually kind of sink my weight in him just by shifting my hips a tiny bit and coming down. What's very common is for jiu-jitsu fighters to do this, to defend against this pass, they put the hand on the hip. Now that's a great defense if I'm walking around, because most people do. All right, but if I'm just coming straight forward, that doesn't matter anymore. Okay, so remember this. If this pass is done perfectly, it's very hard to stop. If though, however, if he's got a very good guard, okay, sometimes a guy, you'll be coming forward, all right, and a guy will push here, or he'll beat me to the punch a little bit. He starts to get his, his leg down a little, maybe he's holding his leg. This is difficult now. I mean, I'm trying to look up, but I'm having a very hard time. So he's either pushing on my hip or holding down. So now I have to come the other way to fake him out. So here, I'm going to bring my leg over this leg here, okay? So he's pushing or whatever. I'm having a hard time. Okay, I'm still holding here, all right? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to come over his leg, just like this. Now, it's a very important detail. My foot is touching the floor. My toes are on the floor here. My knee's on the floor here, so it's trapping his leg, okay? You got to really trap this leg. It's a very important detail. My hand is still holding on, because if he tries to kick back with the leg and I'm not holding on, I could fall backwards. All right? So I want to hold on here. Next thing I'm going to do is wrap this arm under his neck. Now, this really can be painful for a lot of unflexible guys because the knee is coming to the shoulder. I'm coming down. I'm going to grab whatever part of the gi I can here. Okay? Right here. There's a lot of submissions later. You can actually choke a guy right here. All right? But right now, we're going to pass the guard. Hold here. Hold this gi here. Hold this. Hold your own sleeve. Okay? Begin to choke him, whatever you want. All right? But I have to crush him down while keeping this leg here. Next move. Okay? Make a little space because my leg's going to come out. as I come here, I'm here. Maybe my head, now this move can be done with the head down here. Okay, so maybe he was pulling his leg down. You know, I don't know. Okay, very difficult. So I come around. All right, right here. Now watch this leg. Okay, my left leg. I'm gonna bring my shoulder down to his neck. There's moves on so they can see. So whether I'm under here, this shoulder has to make pressure on his face here. Okay, there's gonna be a second when my balance is weird. So this shoulder to his chin, make him look that way. Okay, here, I'm not gonna put all pressure on Bob, but if I was really doing it, his knee would be to his face. Okay, I'm gonna try and go easy. Here, down. And if you really wanna, make this work, keep the gi here with this hand and holding here, so you're squeezing him, so his knee is touching his face and this is planted to the ground. Some guys will tap here. Okay, yeah. Okay, if I spread my butt, my hips to the floor like this. See my right knee. If I do that, and at the same time press down, he's gonna tap. Some guys are flexible though. So here's what I want to do. I'm coming here, my shoulder into his face, and my leg sits out. Look at my good base like I did on the takedowns. Notice how I'm still controlling his leg. Okay. Now obviously, it depends on the flexibility of the individual, but I'm probably gonna let go of the neck right now. So I can hold here. Okay. Because I don't want him doing anything with this leg. Push it away. Okay. So I have a very good base. Once I'm here, if I want to remove my leg, I put my hand in the way, right here on his pants, and I can fix my base side control. Okay. On this next pass, the beginning will be identical to the first. All right, there's a number of different ways in which we uncross the ankles, but I like to stick with one and get really good at it first. And I find that most jiu-jitsu fighters have a preferred method of uncrossing the ankles that they use with a lot of other passes. Basically, it's like a mix and match book, like a children's book with a different set of eyes, a different nose, a different mouth. You can interchange the breaking the hooks method with the passing the legs method, or the posturing method. So what I want to do here is just use the same breaking the hooks method. Okay, keep it simple and give you guys a different variation on the passing the legs method. So here I'll do the same thing. Maybe I want to use the belt because why? It's a good reference point for you guys. All right. When you get more advanced, some people don't like to use the belt. Whatever. But the belt's good. Pants. Whatever I use. Here, the belt's right here. It's available. I'm going to push it. Okay. Keeping my elbows in. Very important. Sliding to the side, making the L with my legs, and rounding on my back to break the hooks. Here, he doesn't put his feet in my hips. All right. I'm going to take advantage of that. I'm going to rotate my hand over his leg, over his thigh, not over his shin, over his thigh. Okay? So, because if he has control here, now I'm in spider guard. We'll talk about this later, but it's not good for me. Okay? So I want to control his thigh and grab his pants as shown right here. Okay? So you see this pant grab I'm using here. All right, make some room so you can see. All right, I'm grabbing like this. The other hand comes around. And if I can, I grab his pants the same way. If it has to be grabbed like that, that's fine. If you have no gi eventually, someday you can hug the legs. That's cool too. But this will work here. Okay? Right here above the knees. What I want to do now, I'm going to bring my head onto his stomach and my feet out like a push-up move. Here. But I don't want to balance the weight with my arms. I want to have my shoulder on his thighs and my face on his leg. Okay? To pass the guard. So I'm here and here. Okay, now I'm controlling the hips. Here. Boom. I want to bring my body over his feet, however high that may be. Just enough to get by it. Okay? See how my head is on his belly? My hands are controlling his legs so he can't just kick his leg out. If I didn't hold his pants, he'd be able to just reopen his leg and get control again. I have to hold his pants. Okay? Here, and once again being above his knees, I'm here. Now I just come around to the side. You'll notice I can't get his leg out here because my arm is blocking it, and my hand is controlling this leg. My right hand is controlling this leg here, and holding. I can come above here, or I stick my knee in so he can't move anything. Come around, try to get some weight on it. You don't want to bring your weight up. When you're here, you want to keep your weight on his belly the whole time. Smashing, sliding, smashing down. Okay, don't let him sit up. It's going to be a big part of his defense. All right. A lot of times when you come around, though, when you're here, you're going to come around. He's going to start to push you away and push your face. Okay, whatever. Yeah. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to keep my weight down towards his belly, and as I do, lean the weight of my shoulder into his leg. I'm going to hop over to the other side here. Okay. So I disappear. All my weight's on his leg, so he can't use it. Here, he pushes me away. Just hop around. Now the fix up is easy. I'm still holding his pants, but I just change hands. I can hold this leg to control it. Why? Because my weight's on it now. But as I come up toward his head, it's going to come off. So as my weight comes off of his leg, I need to hold it, like I am here with my left hand. And I fix up. Okay, so I'm here. Okay, so as I jumped over, I want to control with my hand to pass the gun. Sometimes I'm working with an opponent, maybe he has very strong legs, or very flexible legs. Some people are they really don't want to let go, especially at a beginner level. This is extremely common because some people don't know a lot of submissions from the open guard in their beginning. So they don't know what else to do but hold you very tightly. All right, so for whatever reason, maybe my first method of uncrossing the ankles doesn't work. That's an important thing in Jiu-Jitsu. You're going to find you can't always have one move that you do all the time because sometimes my partner may be an expert at defeating that move. So I should always have a backup plan. Here's my plan. I'm going to hold the gi collar like this. All right. Notice how my elbows are out. This was an important thing. When my hand is above the line of his rib cage, my elbows should be pointed out. When it's below the line of his rib cage, my elbow can be pointed in because it's not inside to get arm locked. So here, I'm going to control like this. So if he tries to sit up and stuff, I can still push down. Okay, I have a good amount of strength here to push him down. It's fine. All right, it's not a lot of, it's technical, but it's not a whole lot of strength to be able to do that. All right. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get up to my feet. And here's a very, very important detail. When I get up to my feet, I have to pop up at the same time. I have to rock forward and jump up. To rock forward and jump up. Don't do it one at a time. Remember we talked about on the other pass, like putting your leg up here, he's going to get it. That's it. Okay? So we don't want to deal with that. We want to both. Okay? Now a lot of guys here will try the first guard sweep a lot of people use. All right? They grab the ankles and put your feet in my hips, and they can just push me backwards. Okay, here. See, I pull my ankles, I'll fall. In order to defeat that, I simply hold his collar. Okay, so if he does open his ankles here, and put your feet in my hips, I just pull forward on his collar and sit on him here. He can't sweep me back now. Okay? But this guy at this point, he's going to hold on with all his might. So when I pop up, okay, he's holding. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my leg muscles combined with my back and my arms to lift him up. Notice what I did. I made a table with my legs. All right? I'm not holding him up. Okay? He's resting here on my legs. It's no problem. All right? My back is straight. If I lean forward, I feel like I'm going to fall. I straighten out. When I'm straight, it's very hard for him to hold now. He's working now. He's working to hold on. All right? So it's his job now to hold. Okay? Very difficult. You'll see if I lean forward, I fall. Okay? I have to settle my weight back. And you'll notice my back is relatively straight. Head up. Okay? You bring your head down, you're going to fall. Okay? Bob's losing his grip here. You'll see just alone, and the guy gets tired, it can be a method of breaking the hooks. That's great. Okay? So he might uncross his ankles just like that because it's so much work. If he doesn't, here's what I'm going to do. Pop up. Hold him. Okay? And I'm going to push on his hip. Okay, we'll do it with this hand. Here, it's not a major detail. I just push his hip. Now he's falling, okay? As he falls, I can stick my arm back now because he can't triangle me. He can't get his hips underneath my armpit. He needs his hips under my armpit to armbar me or triangle me. I push down, I can stick my hand back here, okay? And I can stick it out to uncross the ankles, all right? And everything now is identical to the first pass. I drop my weight back down, I look up, and you can either use this move to come around, or identical to the first pass, same thing, nothing changes. Once I've passed Bob's guard, I'm going to be in the side control position, or at his side. From this position, there's a lot of different hand and leg placements, depending on what he's doing to me, or how I prefer to hold him, or what type of submission I want to get. Right now, I'm just going to go through some of the hold down techniques. Then we'll look at some of the available submissions from each spot. All right. Some submissions can be done from 2 different positions, and that'll make things a little easier. All right. Basically, the basic side hold, okay, you see a lot. It's just when, guys, 2 knees are on the floor here, and, you're holding him either here, you guys have this here, okay, your elbows are out here, and you're holding him down, your chest is to the chest, okay? The knee is in at the belt. Why? Because, when he wants to get his guard back, the first thing he's going to do is replace this lower leg, okay? And if you notice, see how I had to lift this hip, if my knee is in here, it's going to be very hard for him to do. Another typical hold is just holding under here, maybe grabbing his gi, grabbing here. You can hold over top, all right, and grabbing his pants. Then my arm blocks off his leg. You'll see how my right arm is blocking his ability to get his leg back. This is a good hold because sometimes here the guy's very big. He might be able to roll me over. He's a big fat guy or something. Yeah, I can get rolled over. Okay? So, now what's going to help me to prevent me from getting rolled over would be having some extra weight over here. Okay? Like if you took a log and Bob wanted to roll the log over, if the log was going this way, it'd be very easy. You just roll over with it. If I took the log and put one tip here and then let the heavy end go out this way, it'd be much harder for Bob to pick up. So the same type of philosophy. I grab his pants here, hold, lock off the legs, put my chest down, and I spread my legs back. Now, it's very hard for him to roll me, and it's very hard for him to get his leg in. All right? But this is not a great place to launch a bunch of attacks, all right? Because my hands are obviously occupied. So not the greatest attacking hold, but great for holding. Whereas the other one's better for attacking. So they'll have their purposes. All right. Another great hold is keisagatame. This is actually a modified keisagatame, a scarf hold. This leg is off of balance. So if he tries to sit up, I have this leg back here. You can't just sit up. All right. You can feel very heavy in this hold. Notice how my knee is very close to his head. His shoulder is almost up on my leg here. All right. But it's modified. The original keisagatame, like they use in judo, is here. By the head, but unless you're very proficient, it's very hard to hold this for a long period of time. Really easy to get rolled, and a guy can take your back, which we'll discuss later. All right. So a lot of jiu-jitsu guys like to hold under here, more control. Maybe a little less weight on the head, but more control. So I hold here. All right. This is keisagatame. It's good for holding, and there's a bunch of different submissions that are probably more advanced that you can do from this position, though. All right. There's north south, which you hold from the top. This guy's at this angle. Okay, you can hold here, hold his pants. Okay, you can keep your knees in if you want, or if it's a heavier guy, you can spread them out like a Y angle here. All right, there's a bunch of different attacks from there as well. A little bit harder and more advanced, but we will discuss it today, is knee on belly. Getting to knee on belly position is fairly simple. All right, I'm going to push off his hip and his shoulder. So you were here, okay, but I'll make a lot of space so you can see. Pushing off his hip, his shoulder. You pop up the knee on belly. This is a 45-degree angle right here. Okay, it lines up with his shoulder. My foot is out at a comfortable distance. My knee is right here. His lower chest, his belly area. All right. I can hold. There's a number of ways to hold. I can hold with the hand so that he can't get his guard back. I can press his leg and hold his leg here. Notice how my hips come forward to create more weight on him. All right. So my hips are right above his. It's a great position to start launching an attack from. But kind of a difficult position to use if you're a beginner and if your opponent has an excellent guard. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about this, but we're not going to harp on it for too long. The next position is everyone's favorite here, especially for beginners, the mount. Okay, I can slide down into the mount position right from down belly, right here. Once I'm in the mount position, I have a number of different attacks. One of the best attacking positions because my hands are completely free now. With knee on belly, I need my hands. Okay, with all the side control pins, even in keisagatame, I need my hands. I don't need my hands here. All right. Usually in jiu-jitsu, when we have a collar, the first thing I do is begin to attack the neck. Okay, so that's the first thing we'll go over. It doesn't follow the guideline of the book here. If you notice in your book, this is towards the end of the chapter, but you can turn to the end of the attached from the top chapter and you'll see this in your book if you bought basics. All right, but what we're going to do here is slide our hand in the collar first to begin attacking his neck. Okay, it's the first thing we're going to do. So my finger is going to go right inside his gi, all 4 fingers inside. Okay, behind his ear. Basically use the thumb as a reference point. The thumb should be behind his ear. You have it in deep enough. I cut the slack of his collar off here. All right, so right here, nice and tight. And I make a fist. Okay, very tight. All right. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up his neck here. Sometimes guys will, kind of hide here a little. The way around that is you wiggle your hand like this. Jam your hand in underneath. He'll open up now. Okay? I press it open. You can see here. Open it up. Because I need the lifting to open his chin, the second hand has to go under the first. Okay? See this? Here. And the same thing occurs with this hand. We're going to do a combination of both. Okay? I'm going to press with my weight here. I'm going to pull more with my bottom hand than the top hand, but I'm still going to press my chest into him, and I'm going to expand my chest. I'm going to pull with my back muscles as I come to the floor using my weight. So I fed my right hand in here, open his neck, go underneath. Okay? Now as I come down, I'm going to put a tremendous amount of weight down on the floor with this arm. I'm going to pull with this hand as hard as I can. I'm going to pull a little bit with this hand. So I'm going to weight, pulling, chest out, okay? Pulling with my back here, okay? Now we'll add something. As I pull, I'm going to rotate my wrist like this, okay? If you remember the guillotine choke where we did this, it's the same move. The backs of my wrists are going to press into the arteries of his neck. Now your mount hold can be increased by grapevining your opponent's legs right here as you come down. Okay, it's very hard for him to do anything when you do that with his legs. Very hard to escape. Okay, so you can combine everything now and choke the guy out. Right here, 1, 2. Okay, I'm squeezing, making it like the butterfly move with my hand. My chest goes out, I spread down, and I tap the guy out. Okay, so now that we have the 2-hand collar choke here, okay, with both hands in, 4 fingers inside. There's a few variations on this choke. I mean, as a beginner, get this one down. You can try this one as well, right? Once you have this hand in here, you can also, even if he's got his chin tucked a lot, you can either get the thumb inside the collar here, or you don't even need it. If you can grab a flap of the gi, just make sure your pinky is touching the collar here. You're that close. If you're too far away, obviously it's not going to work. You want to be here, okay? You can choke the guy as well like this, hand over. Except this time, the top hand is the framing hand. This is the pulling hand, okay? You obviously can't pull this way so easily. So you're just laying a lot of weight down here with this hand, okay? And you're pulling, all right? So the guy taps. Most jiu-jitsu chokes are blood chokes. They're not on the throat here. So they're not very dangerous, but you don't want to damage the throat here. It's just cutting off blood supply. So it only takes a few seconds for the guy to go out. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to use this choke to set up other things. What I want to do here is a really simple choke, actually, that works very well. If I have a little extra slack on the gi here, I can take my fist and press the gi down. Now you can press the gi down here, okay, or right into his neck with your fist in his neck. It's really bothersome here, okay? So I can actually stiff arm him here and pull the other side up. A lot of times, as I push-pull, the guy will kind of defend. He'll bring one arm up to defend, okay? It happens on either side, or he might bring this up to defend, whatever, okay? So if it happens this way, I'm going to bring my body up. I'm going to pop up to my feet, okay, and use my hand to push his arm here. And when I pop up, I'm going to sit right on the back of his arm. This is very important, okay? I'm using my body weight. If he pushes this way, I'm going to rest my weight on my arm. So I'm going to pop up, resting my weight on my arm, but I have to do the same thing, and I pull his arm across here. When I'm ready to go, it's very simple. I can take my time here. I can hold the gi, all right? You can push the face if you want. You don't even need to now, all right? And you can step in front of his face. So you're sitting here now, okay? So we can get a better angle. Okay, just like that. His elbow's here. So his elbow has to be visible here. Okay, if I sit here, he can pull his arm out. I've lost everything. All right, I want to sit here. All right, I hold here. Grab your own gi. You know, of course, in reality, it's not going to be this low. I like to line the thumb up with my elbow because I control the wrist that way. All right, I'm going to show you one in a second, but just keep that in mind. Squeeze his wrist with your arm and sit straight down. Never jump back, okay? He's here. Don't dive back because it's too much space. He's going to get out. When you're here, when you're up here, I want you to sit straight down. I want you to go here, and it'll stay really tight if you just go straight down. Keep your chest attached to his arm. Squeeze your knees, and go back. Okay, right here, if, you know, just to open things up, you want to keep the guy's thumb up. If you're doing it like this, you'd have his thumb up, squeeze your knees, feet down, pinning his body and his head, squeezing your knees together tight, arm to your chest, lift, he's already tapping, okay? So lift your hips up, all right? Here. Now, when I'm in this position, this is obvious, like if I come back first, and I try to pull with my arms, see, if I pull your arm, oh, yeah, I'm gonna lose it, strength. I use my whole body here. And what I like to do is I can control, Bob, twist your wrist around. It's hard for him to move his hands. This thumb is gonna stay up. Okay, so I'm squeezing with my arm, make a little clamp here, and just go back. I'm squeezing my knee. Okay, I make a vise here, so it doesn't push into my groin, okay? His arm won't be able to move freely so much, okay? And he won't crush my groin, all right? I squeeze my knees together, hold his arm here, and go back. So let's take one more look at the actual arm bar. All together now. I'm here. Maybe he defended here. Okay, I pop up. Both feet at the same time. Okay, sit here, grabbing his arm, and coming back. Normally, everything on my instructionals will be done by position. So, for example, if we were discussing submissions we can do from the mount, we would just stay in the mount position and discuss all the submissions we can do there. But the next two submissions are almost identical to the ones we did in the mount. I just want to show you how they can be done from another position. All right. So we're going to work a little bit from the knee on belly position here. So remember how we came up. All right. If your knee on belly isn't perfect right now, just work on it. Try to maybe do some drills with your opponent to try to hold it a little bit and work on it. But if you make some pressure here, okay, you're going to notice that the guy's going to want to push you away. All right. If he doesn't push you away with this hand, we have a very easy opportunity here to arm lock the guy. Okay, this is simple. It's going to be exactly the same kind of hip movement we did with the mount arm bar. We're just going to hold the gi here, his tricep, throw your hip into the guy by stepping forward a little bit. Okay, see how his elbow is here? I hold the gi the same way, foot over the face. Now my leg isn't over on this side, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to grab the leg right here, squeeze the knees together and sit straight down. Okay, I'm in the armbar position. The reason I grabbed this leg, and we'll work on this a little bit later on, maybe in some of the Master Techs DVDs, is because he can escape very easily if I don't. He can roll away and escape. Okay, advanced guys are going to do this to you. If you forget to hold the arm, as long as you squeeze your knees together really hard and you keep this thumb up, like let's say you didn't hold like, and you squeeze your legs and you do this, you're going to get most people, everybody doesn't know Jiu-Jitsu, and a lot of white to blue belts here with this, okay? But I like to develop really good habits. So if you do it, what we're going to do here is we're going to throw our hips forward, okay, and grab the pins. Right here. All right, so it's almost the same as the other arm bar. So see how we're learning a bunch of moves here, okay, all at once. So it's very, very, very similar. The next one is very similar as well, okay? The finish is the same, but now maybe, here we'll move back a little bit, maybe he pushes on it because a lot of pressure. Maybe on here, making a lot of pressure on his chest, so he wants to push my knee off. I go under the arm. Okay? Under the arm. Okay, so go in the hole. A lot of people mess this up when they do it. They're like, just easy to remember. Stick your arm in the hole. Under his armpit. Put your hand to your collar, just like this. Okay? A very, very simple move. Hand to the collar. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin around here. Okay, keeping my butt low. I'm doing it nice and slow for you. So my legs are going to be close together. My knees close together here. Holding right here. I'm going to grab his pants, just like I did on the other side. Same thing, just opposite way. And I'm going to just turn. Don't get up. Turn until you're in the arm lock again. From that position, okay, killing some more birds, we're going to be here. Sometimes the guy puts his hand down here to hide it. All right? This is simple. One of the most popular jiu-jitsu moves here. Underneath. So I was here. Go underneath your own arm. Slide back. When I go underneath my own arm, there's a little detail here I want everyone to see. I do that. So here, he didn't want it, he brought it down. So I lift up. If you have a very strong look, rock your body like this. Okay? Go underneath and to here. Okay, so I'm here. Hold his own wrist, hold his wrist here, and then hold your own wrist, okay? Bend it down a little here. Okay, it's a kimura. The most important thing is that this leg at the back of his tricep pushes into him. Stabilize it, make a 90-degree angle, and turn. Turn his arm, okay? Right here. It's the kimura. It's a shoulder lock here. Okay. Okay, so underneath, I was going here, and maybe I didn't want to. Maybe I just changed my mind. I'm going to trick him. He's ready for this here. I'll go right here. Kimura. Another move that we can do from the on belly, and this is why I want to just go through this quickly, is it's the same move as we did from the mount. Okay, so again, we're just going through a bunch of the same submissions that can be done from different positions. So here, I can stick my hand inside his collar here to attack the neck. Now, a lot of things are going to happen. Sometimes he'll like drop down and like really start to get the arm off. I mean, I can put myself in armbar position. Okay? Just like before. If he doesn't do that, it's fine. He's pushing away. Maybe make a lot of pressure on here. And I'm doing this. So he puts his hands down instead. That's great. I can come here. Grab his collar just like we did. Okay? See the mount choke at the beginning of this section. Right here. And I can press down. Okay, so I have that choke right there. I even have this one if I want. I can go underneath here. He's a little tight for it, but that's it, right here. Okay, I have it. I can just pull him up, or I can slide down to the mount and do it. Okay, so if you by sticking this hand in the collar, even from the on belly, it offers such a wide variety of attacks here. He's in a lot of trouble. Okay, he might keep the hand up. I have the arm bar. He gives the arm on either side. I have the arm bar. Okay, he's here. I just attack his neck. Okay, right here. Okay, I got him. It's all done. The next thing I want to discuss also can be done from side control or mount. So we'll work our way back to mount from side control. Right here in side control, this is really great here. Okay, in Brazil they call this the Americana. Okay, it's a little bit derogatory, so I just call it a key lock. All right. So right here, he's going to push on me or something. Maybe he has his arm in any way, shape, or form here. Okay. Basically, when you're in side control, the only safe place for it to be is, hiding the arm or pushing my face down, So you don't really want to leave this dangling out here. But if someone does, here's what we're going to do, okay? We're going to be in this type of side control, holding here, all right? So I have my arm under his arm. My hand, I'm going to make a little bit of space here. Sometimes if you want, you can push it down if it's a strong guy with your head, all right? I'm going to make some space here so that you can see it, all right? Right here, pushing his hand to the floor. All right. Now here a lot of people have trouble. They do two things that I don't like to see. They go behind the head and try to get it. They're like, why can't I get this? Okay, because you're going to be on this side of his head. It's a common mistake, okay? And you guys are going to watch through this fast, and then you're going to do it. And you're going to see. All right, they made this mistake. Okay? So when I'm here, if my elbow's not on the floor by his head, make it go down on the floor. Never accommodate. Never go like this for it to be nice. Put your elbow down. If his face in the way, smash. Down. Okay? Right here. Once I'm here, these are the important details of the key lock. Okay? Right here. First thing, wrist is pinned. Second thing, okay, sliding the elbow back. Never do this. Because nothing. I have nothing on him. No weight. No control. Okay? I'm here. I slide his elbow down. Okay? Now the next thing, wrist is pinned, sliding the elbow down. Most guys will tap here, okay? So most guys, I slide the elbow down, he's gonna tap. Notice I kept everything pinned to the floor. Some guys now, they won't tap there, so I won't go all the way down because Bob tapped there. But I'm gonna use this wrist movement again. This is like a little secret move for you guys, all right? So what we did here, remember we had for the guillotine choke standing, we did this with our hands. Same thing. By doing this with our hands, it's gonna lift this part of his arm off the floor. So for you guys that want to do it like this, okay, you don't need to make any space with your body at all. You can just be here, okay, and watch my wrist carefully. He's tapping. Notice I do it with both hands. Why? Because I can only go this so far with this hand, but if I rotate my left wrist up too, it raises the level of everything. So I slide down. Say I don't even slide down. Watch how powerful this is, okay? Look how high my wrist can make everything go. Okay? So it's a little secret detail of the key lock. In this portion of the DVD, we'll be discussing taking your opponent's back, or the rear mount position. All right? This is a very, very important position in Jiu-Jitsu. It's one of the trademark Jiu-Jitsu positions. It's the best position of control, okay, because if you're in any kind of altercation where striking is allowed, once you're behind him, he really can't hit you very well, okay? He can't even see you, all right? Very, very, very good position. And if you're doing sport jiu-jitsu later on, when you become more interested in this, you can't go compete in sport jiu-jitsu unless you know a wide variety of techniques. Otherwise, it's not worth it. You won't know what you're doing, all right? So you got to learn a core of techniques, and then you can go compete. But once you compete, there's a very high point value to attaining this position. All right. Basically, the rear mount is when I have both of my feet, okay, called hooks, okay, in. Okay, my hooks in. I have both of my feet over his legs, just like this. All right. When you get to this position, one thing you want to be careful not to do is cross your ankles. One, because eventually there's going to be things your opponent can do to counter. He can do leg locks here, right, which hurt your legs. Or your ability to control him is not there. Here, if he moves, from right to left, I can control him with my feet. Okay? If I cross my ankles, he can rotate freely within my legs. You see, ending up in my guard. I won't really have control over the position. I want to hold him here. Okay? Once we have the back, for now, use your training wheels. Okay? Hold his collar. Use the collar of the gi. Now I have very good control over him. Right? If you don't have the gi, you can actually, put someone in a full mount. You have very, very, very good control over someone here. All right. So just to control, this is great. Maybe you want to grab your partner and you can practice having him move around a little bit and trying to control the position. But basically, what we want to do first is look at how to get here. Okay, a couple different ways to get to this position. First thing we're going to do is work from the north-south position. Okay, why? Because in the last chapter we talked here about attacks from the top position and such. So we'll just try to bridge through, making this learning easier for you. What we're going to do is, once again, use the gi, use our training wheels. When we're here, I'm going to open his gi up. Open his gi. Okay, holding the collars as so. Right here, hands down. Once I have his gi, it's a really simple move. And I'm gonna leave a little space. I'm not gonna do it as tight as I normally would. You can rock him aside. But basically, I'm gonna kind of pick him up here. All right. Some people stand completely up. A little risky, but you could do it if you want. If you want to do this to practice, pick him right up. Okay. And you can put one hook in, the other hook in. Okay. Now you have his back. All right. So a bit much space, but if you want to be a little tighter eventually, you can just pick him up to this level here, okay, and rock to one side, and rock to the other. And you'll have his back. Sometimes from the top, when we're here, he'll roll to his knees voluntarily, either because, maybe he's trying to make a daring escape, or he doesn't know what he's doing. Right, he's a beginner. So he rolls away from me, giving his back. Okay? You're going to learn that until you're advanced, you don't want to give your back. Once you're advanced, there's techniques you can do from here. But for beginners, never give your back. Once we're here, okay, he rolls away, boom. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have you turn this way so they can see. I'm going to grab his belt. This is great because if he decides to change his mind, let's say he rolls away from me again, I can control him. Right? I like to hold the belt here. Okay? Once again, use the training wheels I gave you. All right, hold right here. The next thing, hold his collar right here. Okay, so both situations are 4 fingers inside. Once my foot is on his thigh, I can actually stand on it, putting both feet on the thighs. You can sit right here. Okay? It's very simple. From this position, he can't go anywhere without me putting my hooks in. All right? If he decides to kind of throw me back, well, my hooks go in. Okay? So it doesn't matter. I can sit here and wait. He's in a lot of trouble. But I don't want to wait. I'm going to grab his collar here, point my toes down. You can see here. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to pull up on his gi and throw my feet down to get my hooks in. Okay? Now I'll have my hooks. I'm in a top position now, so it's very easy to spread him out by moving from here to here. Holding his collars. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread my body forward here as my legs kick back. Okay? I'm throwing my hips down. So it's very similar to the grapevine technique we did with the mount. Okay, so we're here. Okay, I'm controlling. If I don't have the guy, I can hold his wrists and spread him down. Okay, so I throw my feet back, my hips down into his back, and he has very little control from this position. Once we have the back position, you can do everything when he has his bed on the floor, like I just was before. But here, we have space so that you can see, and you can also do it from this position as well. I have my opponent's back now. All right, I'm going to start by holding the collars, and from here we'll decide a bunch of different submission techniques that we can do, depending on where his arm moves and the type of defense he mounts. Right now, I just want to work on the most important technique from the back position. It's the rear naked choke. Okay, he's going to drop his chin down, of course, to protect his neck. Okay, we're going to assume he knows something. This is important right here. How to get in underneath his chin. All right, if he drops his neck, you can't. It's going to be very hard. I can barely reach, so it's going to be hard. And I could smash his face, but it's strength. I'm going to make a shape with my fist like this. I'm going to make the shovel. So you'll notice I just fold my fingers here. My thumb is here. I'm going to work my thumb and my index finger down the line of his jaw, right here. It's very sensitive. I press here, you'll notice he doesn't like it. So I go down behind his ear, down his jawline. All right. Once I get underneath his chin, I bring my hand up. Okay, I lift his chin up with my hand like this. All right. I make the shape with my hand. Down his jawline, you see his face, he's wincing, it hurts. And here, so that it comes through on the other side. See my thumb? My thumb will continue to follow his jawline. If you want, you can push his face here. So you really get it. I like to crawl. Like if I'm not, my elbow should line up with his chin. If I'm not there, look at my hand like a spider. Okay? I crawl up to get in very, very deep. That's very important. Okay, so here, he's down. I go down his jawline and back up. Okay, pushing it in. Okay, make sure it's deep. I'm under his chin. Okay, closing off the sides of his neck. So this press is on one side of his neck. This press is on the other, my bicep. I go underneath here. Okay. The next move, hand on the bicep. Hand on my own bicep. This hand now, once I have my hand on my bicep, goes behind his head, as shown here. All right? Because he might put his head back. I know why he would, because it's kind of exposing his neck, but it might not be easy to slide this here. So I want to slide my hand behind his head. Right here. Okay, I'm going to let off his neck a little so he can breathe. I'm doing this. Once I get it there, I'm going to make 2 moves to press his head down. Watch the direction of his head. When I make a fist, his head comes forward slightly. When I turn out, his head comes forward again. So notice I'm using technique. If I use strength, just pushing, it's just this. It's just my tricep muscle. Okay? I want to use technique. I want to push his body forward into my arm. If I want to choke him, you want to push something into the front, but see how he comes back to relieve the pressure. If I stop him from coming back, it creates more pressure. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come underneath, and everything I did with this hand is going to stay the same. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand my chest. I'm going to take a deep breath in, and my chest is going to push him forward, completing the choke even more. All right? So once again, this shape with your hand. Under, here, behind. I'm going to do everything I did with my hand before, but watch me breathe in. Watch how fast it is. Okay, I'm expanding my chest. It's a very hard detail to see, but maybe I can do it slow. Okay, I'm breathing in. Okay, crawling up. Make sure I'm there. Get it in. Don't waste time here because it's just on the front of the throat. If he's a very strong guy, this will work, but it's tough. You want to get in deep. Here, and breathe in. And that's the rear naked choke. From the back, you can also collar choke your opponent here. And we're going to work on some collar chokes. For the first collar choke, the entry is exactly the same as the rear naked choke. Shovel move with my hand, down underneath. Except now, we can get some detail here on the thumb. Instead of going up by his ear, we're going down into the collar. Okay, so you can see, if you can see his bulge in the gi here, that's how deep I am. I'm pretty deep. Notice this. Look how much of the collar I get. Look, I don't grab this. That's weak. I go all the way in and grab as much as I can. I grab the here. So you can already feel it, okay? Right here. So I go in and grab a ton of this collar here, as much as I can. This hand will go, once again, behind his head. Do a very similar move, but more of a pushing out, like a knife edge pushing out move. This hand's going to pull, okay? It's like a chicken wing choke. Here, okay? I'm going to push out and pull. Okay, for this choke, I'm going to lean back, all right? I'm going to lean back as I pull, all right? Here. Okay, very simple. The next move we're going to do here, sometimes you won't want to use chokes, or you have children, and you don't have children choking each other, okay, doing damage to the neck. But arm locks are usually okay as long as they're responsible and they understand safety, they're being supervised. It's a very simple move. From this side, you notice how, if I attack on this side or whatever, okay, sometimes you'll get held up. Sometimes he'll hold your arm or whatever, and it'll be kind of a pain in the neck here because he knows he needs that. But right here, we were coming underneath his arm. That's cool. So here, he brings all his attention to this arm because it's doing the attacking. What I want you to do now is, all right, very simple. We're going to make a little space so you can see the details, but you're going to bring your arm through as much as you can here, okay? So just like this. What I want you to do is reach for your gi, whatever you can. See, I can get my gi here. Maybe you can't. And if you can't, just hook his shoulder. Okay? So either hook his shoulder or grab your gi, whatever you can get. We're going to be realistic. So he holds here. I can get my gi. I hold my own gi collar. All right? Now, this is great because we already did this move today. But here's just a different entry. Here, he holds my arm to protect from the choke. I'm here. I get my gi. Get what I can. All right? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to rip my arm out. I'm going to pull my arm out. Okay? No, you got to get your arm out. Right here. You got to pull your arm out. Push his face away, swing your leg out, and you're in the armbar position. You can see it all happening here. See this leg? You're already holding your collar, and you're in the arm lock position from before, from the attack from the top. There are also moves here, which we're not going to go crazy into detail, where if you do grab the collar, you can stick your knee behind his neck. Okay? They're more advanced for you guys. I want you guys to be able to hit these chokes. All right, right here. Put your knee even in the back. As long as I have control here of his arm, okay, it's going to work really well. All right, so sometimes people are like, well, what happens? I've been practicing this move with my partner, and I can't pull my arm out, you know? So whatever, you go here. Right here, holding. Okay, I got my gi, boom. Remember, squeeze your knees, guys. Squeeze your knees. See how my elbow here is lined up with his thumb. It's great, everything's fantastic. He's under control. And I've tapped him with down lock. As you practice these techniques with your partner, don't use 100% resistance. It's important to get the fine details of each technique down first before you can try to do them with resistance. Otherwise, you'll develop bad habits and you won't understand the technique at 100%. I'm going to drop straight back to the mat, but I have to remember I don't want to hit my head on the back of the mat. I also don't want to bite my tongue as I fall. So keep your teeth closed, keep your chin down, and your hands up. Pull his leg into me as I puff my chest forward. Here, and drive off my back leg. Okay, to take him down. So I'm pressing forward, pulling in, driving off my back. As I come through, I'm going to twist my hand up and bring my elbow down. This creates a really nice wrist lock. Okay? If you want, you can just wrist lock a guy here like this. Okay? That hurts. More. All right? So once again, let's shape with your hand. Under, here, behind. I'm going to do everything I did with my hand before, but watch me breathe in. Watch how fast it is.